blessed day, everyone, especially to you, Mrs. Maria Magdalena Bernales. Today, we'll talk about the lesson 2 of this subject, which entitled Special Education Basis, Historical and Conceptual Approach. But before we'll go any further, let us introduce ourselves first. I am Leia Mitutor Ugay, and I am Jayan Ibertidaza, and we are the students of BSN English 3, yours truly for today. And now, we will proceed to the main content of this teaching, which is the pioneers in special education. So the first pioneer in special education is no other than Jean-Marc Gaspard Ellul. He was born on April 24, 1774, in a small town of Orisson province, a province in southeastern France. He was later educated to become a tradesman, but during the French Revolution, he joined the army and became an assistant surgeon at a military hospital in Taiwan. He had no scientific training and received his medical education on the job. He demonstrated considerable talent for medicine, and in 1796, he began a formal surgical internship in Paris. In 1880, he was appointed chief physician at the National Institute for Diabetes in Paris. There, he became interested in the process of hearing and studied the ear and its diseases. However, in the early 1880s, he started to become involved with a feral child named Victor of Aveyron, also known as the Wild Boy, which led to breakthrough in the field of child development and education. Therefore, he designed an educational plan that included 5 aims or primary goals. First, to interest him in social life, where trying to make his life better than before. Second, to improve his awareness of environmental stimuli, but the context was controlled. Third, the extent to the range of his ideas. For example, introduce him to games, culture, and etc. Fourth, to teach him to speak and teach him to communicate by using simple systems such as pictures and written words. And lastly, to exercise the operation of his mind upon his physical ones, from simple and proximal to complex one. Throughout his educational plan goals, the following are efforts result of his work. First, sleeping and eating habits and personal hygiene become more regular and controlled. Second, senses of touch and taste become more acute. Third, circle of ones increase. Fourth, learn some monosyllabic words. And fifth, learn to sequence objectives. From the results mentioned, Victor improved. After 5 years, he could read and speak a few words, demonstrate some affection for his caregivers, and carry out simple commands. It became clear that there are critical periods in a child's development when he is particularly attuned to the learning and developing a skill. And here's the ethics failure. First, Victor never talked. Second, he wanted to return to his old life. Third, too many exigencies led to emotional attachment. Fourth, maybe Victor had an autistic syndrome or mental retardation, and can also explain the abandonment. Through efforts failure and teaching Victor language, he had a breakthrough in the realm of emotions, that the child was capable of human emotion. Victor lived with Hector and his housekeeper, Madame Garhar. One night, while sitting at the table, Victor noticed Madame Garhar crying over the loss of her husband. He stopped what he was doing and consulted her, thus showing empathy. Ezra took his as a breakthrough in the case, proving that the one child was capable of human emotion. And Ezra concluded, if we consider human intelligence from the period of earliest childhood, yet appear to rise above the level of the other animals, all his intellectual faculties are simply confined to the narrow circle of his physical needs. It is upon himself alone that operation of his mind are exercised. Education must them and apply them to his interaction. That is to say, to a new order of the things that has no connection with his first. Such is the source of all knowledge, all mental progress, and creation of the most sublime genius. Whatever degree of probability there may be in this idea, I only repeat it here, at this point of departure and the path toward realization of this last aim. Now, we proceed to the first basis of special education needs. First, individualization. It is a method of instruction in which there is one-to-one teaching and self-paced learning based on an outline of progressive goals leading to the course or curriculum objectives. The importance of this basis is to provide a chance for a normal education. This is why the individualized education plan must be designed so that it helps the child at the areas where they need it most. Second, emotional attachment. An attachment refers to a relationship done between a child or young person and their primary caregiver. This bond is formed in the early years and has a long-term impact on a child's sense of self, development, growth, and future relationships with others. The importance of this basis allows children to secure a base necessary to explore, learn, and relate, and the well-being, motivation, and opportunity to do so. It is important for safety, stress regulation, adaptability, and resilience. Third, specific materials. To bridge this gap, accessible instructional materials provide the same information font and textbooks or handouts in a format that students with disabilities can use more easily. Example of each types of accessible instructional materials are Braille, large print, audio, and digital text. It is important because learning materials significantly increase learners' achievement by supporting learning. For example, an educational video may provide a learner with new insights and appealing worksheets with new opportunities to participate in class. Fourth, structure of contents. Structured content is a kind of metadata information about information. The content structure can provide information about content type. For example, content can be classified as an exhibit or a blog post or an event. Each of these content types can have specific pieces of information associated with it, like an author or a date or place. This is all part of the content structure. It is important because it allows teachers to create a framework for what they want their students to learn and how they should go about doing so. Without structure, it would be nearly impossible for educators to get through the day-to-day tasks that are required of them. Fifth, segregation. The term segregation means the operation of a school system in which students are wholly or substantially separated among the schools of an educational agency based on race, color, sex, or national origin within a school. It will occur when students with disabilities are educated in separate environments, classes, or schools designed for students with impairments or with a particular impairment. An importance of this basis, segregated education leads to segregated rights. If we started to promote inclusive education, we learned that it not only benefits children with disabilities, it provided better education for all. The second pioneers in special education is Edouard Siegler. He was born on January 20, 1812 in Clamcy, France, into a family of prominent musicians. A French-born American psychiatrist who pioneered modern educational methods for teaching the severely intellectual disabled. Influences on Sigmund's work it was Jean Effort, who persuaded Sigmund to dedicate himself to studying the causes and training of the mentally retarded. At the time, mentally retarded people were regarded as non-trainable and were held isolated from the rest of society. Effort's work inspired Sigmund to start teaching mentally retarded children on his own. Sigmund developed the psychological method. First is the sensory training, and this classified about eats, acoustic touch, and utilization of material. Sensory training is a group of techniques designed to improve the functioning of different sensory systems and perception. Sensation and perception are split into two different things. We have to look at each one. Sensation is the basic signal received from your sensory organs. So, this is your eye detecting light, your skin detecting cold, etc. But it doesn't tell you what the light is or it is too cold. That is the domain of perception, which is the interpretation and categorization of sensation. This is where the light hitting your eye is interpreted as a donut, and the cold you are feeling on your skin is too cold to be comfortable. Second, motor training. This is classified about its age-appropriateness activities, example complex functional activities, work, and play. Motor training can help students in special education develop their motor skills, enhance their overall physical abilities. Teacher resources offer a variety of games and activities you can use in a classroom. Also, benefit from informative teaching strategies. First, Sigmund's basis and his work about agency. First, frequent changes in activities. Adaptations, accommodations, and modifications needs to be individualized for students based upon their needs and their learning styles and interests. It is not always obvious what adaptations, accommodations, or modifications would be beneficial for a particular student or how changes to the curriculum, its presentation, the classroom setting, or student evaluation might be made. This intended to help teachers and others find information that can guide them in making appropriate changes in the classroom based on what their students need. Second, analysis of tasks and to their components. Task analysis is a process in which broad goals are broken down into small objectives or parts and sequence for instruction. Teachers focus task analysis on activities necessary for successful participation in the environment. Third, differentiation of senses from intellectual. Understanding implies an intimate knowledge. For intelligence, to understand is the same as endlessly getting to read and write. This is clear to anyone who considers the difference between intellect and sense, because sensitive knowledge is concerned with external and sensible qualities, whereas intellectual knowledge penetrates the very essence of a thing because the object of the intellect is what a thing is. Fourth, physical education. It is education through the physical. It aims to develop students' physical competence and knowledge of movement and safety. Under a ability to use these to perform in a wide range of activities associated with the development of an active and healthy lifestyle. The Individuals with Disability Act requires that students with disabilities receive physical education services, physical design if necessary. If your child has a disability and IEP, the school must provide physical education as part of your child's special education program. The importance of physical education programs can do a great deal to improve the lifestyle of children with special needs. They can increase competency in gross motor skills, help to control obesity, improve self-esteem and social skills, encourage an active lifestyle, and maintain motivation in various areas of life. Fifth, sensory stimulation is the activation of one or more of the senses, includes taste, smell, vision, hearing, and touch. It can range from something as simple as a hand massage with scented lotion or listening to a playlist of favorite music to more complicated activities designed to provide a sensory experience. It is important because sensory play builds a nerve connection in the brain's pathways, which lead to the child's ability to complete more complex learning tasks. Sensory play supports language development, cognitive growth, fine and gross motor skills, problem-solving skills, and social interaction. Sixth, employment as an outcome of education. Outcome-based or outcome-based education, OBE, is an educational theory that bases each part of an educational system around goals, outcomes. By the end of the experience, each student should have achieved that. There is no single instructor, trainer, facilitator, and or mentor based on the outcomes targeted. Education dissociates the learner physically from work in order to prepare in a rational way for coping with the diversity of work and life tasks. Education has a qualifying function and establishes a specific style of schooling or assessment and open. Instead, classes, opportunities, times, and assessment should all help students achieve the specified outcomes. The role of the faculty adapts into the service function for economy and society, as is among various factors determining current careers. Third pioneers in special education is Dr. Maria Montessori, an Italian physician and anthropologist who devoted her life to understanding how children develop socially, intellectually, physically, and spiritually. By carefully observing children all over the world, she discovered universal patterns of development which are found in all children, regardless of their culture or the era in which they lived. Dr. Montessori was one of the first women to be granted a diploma as a physician in Italy. Following her interest in human development, she assisted a clinic for children with mental illnesses. She later directed the orthopedic school in Rome for children with physical, mental, and emotional challenges. During this time, Dr. Montessori lectured throughout Europe concerning the needs of children and their value to the future of our societies. She stressed the need to change our attitudes about children and their treatment. In 1907, Dr. Montessori was given the responsibility of caring for a group of children in the Rome's San Lorenzo slum district. She began to see the importance of a positive, nurturing environment that changes with the developmental needs of the child. As she observed the children and their response to the environment, she saw them demonstrate capabilities and interest that exceeded her expectations. The set of materials used in the Montessori environment were designed over a period of many years by Dr. Maria Montessori and her associates, creating a concrete, physical representation of the concept and skills that children are naturally motivated to learn in their normal course of development. Now, let's tackle the Montessori education, the method of education that is based on self-directed activity, hands-on learning, and collaborative play. In Montessori classrooms, children make creative choices in their learning, while the classroom and the highly trained teacher offer age-appropriate activities to guide the process. Children work in groups and individually to discover and explore knowledge of the world and to develop their maximum potential. Montessori classrooms are beautifully crafted environments designed to meet the needs of the children in a specific age range. Dr. Maria Montessori discovered that experiential learning in this type of classroom leads to a deeper understanding of language, mathematics, science, music, social interactions, and much more. Most Montessori classrooms are secular in nature. Although the Montessori educational method can be integrated successfully into a faith-based program, every material in Montessori classroom supports an aspect of child development, creating a match between the child's natural interests and available activities. Children can learn through their own experience at their own space. They can respond at any moment into the natural curiosities that exist in all humans and build a solid foundation for lifelong learning. For infant and toddler, children ages birth to 3 years, provide a safe, engaging, and nurturing environment for the child, promote trust in themselves and the world, develop confidence in their emerging abilities, develop gross motor coordination, fine motor skills and language skills, offer opportunities to gain independence in daily tasks. For primary, also called the CASA or Children's House, for children ages 3 to 6 years, foster the growth of functional independence, task persistence and self-regulation, promote social development through respectful, clear communication and safe and natural consequences, contain a large variety of materials for the refinement of sensory perception and development of literacy and mathematical understanding, offer opportunities for imaginative exploration, leading to confident, creative self-expression. For elementary, for children ages 6 to 12 years, lower elementary ages 6 to 9, upper elementary ages 9 to 12, offer opportunities for collaborative intellectual exploration in which the child's interests are supported and guided, support the development of self-confidence, imagination, intellectual independence, and self-efficacy, foster an understanding of the child's role in their community, in their culture, and in the natural world. For adolescents, also called kinder or farm schools, for adolescents ages 12 to 15 years. Ideally, a working farm in which adolescents engage in all aspects of farm administration and economic independence, but also include non-farm environments in urban settings. Assist the young adults in understanding of oneself in wider and wider frames of reference, provide a context for practical application of academics, emphasize the development of self-expression through self-reliance and agility in interpersonal relationship. Here are some sensory materials in Maria Montessori Incident Classroom that isolates one quality. In this way, the concept that the child is to discover is isolated. Number 1, paint tower. Number 2, sequin board. Number 3, sequin box. Let's discover the guiding principles. The guiding principles of Montessori education are the same across all age levels and are grounded in over 100 years of work with children around the world. First, respect. Maria Montessori profoundly respected children and the developmental powers that drive them to seek certain experiences. Montessori education reframes the adult or child relationship to place the child at the center of his own learning. Second, prepare the environment. Children needs change as they move through stages of development. At each level of Montessori education, this difference is honored through the preparation of the classroom environment. The environment is prepared in every way for optimal development, physically, cognitively, socially, and emotionally. Third, hands-on learning. Montessori classrooms are interactive environments in which hands-on exploration is not only encouraged, it is necessary. By using the mind, the body, the senses, learning becomes an activity that engages the whole self. Fourth, discovery. One of the most profound differences between Montessori education and conventional education is that, in Montessori, children are given the experience of discovering the answer for themselves. This leads to a much deeper learning experience and creates a lifelong love of learning as a self-directed process of problem solving and discovery. Four pioneers in special education is Dr. Ovid DeClory. He is a Belgian pioneer in education of children, including those with physical abilities. Also, he was a physician, a neuropsychiatrist, a psychologist, and a professor at the University of Brussels. He is best known as a highly influential pedagogue and a pioneer of experimental pedagogy. DeClory was particularly interested in the relationship between philosophy and psychology, both normal and pathological. He founded two educational establishments based on the principle of human biosocial needs. Through his work as a physician, Dr. DeClory became involved in a school for disabled children and consequently became interested in education. One outcome of this interest was his establishment. In 1901, of the Institute for Abnormal Children in Oakley, Belgium, DeClory credited the school's home-like atmosphere with helping students achieve better and more consistent educational results than those typically achieved by non-handicapped students in regular schools. The Pediatric Society asked him to become the head doctor of a small clinic for children with disabilities. He called them regulars. His decision would shape his entire life. He accepted the job and created an institute for these school children in his own house and educated them with his own filter. serve the children in their daily lives. Shortly afterwards, DeClory founded the École de Albertage in Brazil for children without disabilities. So here are 4 bases of DeClory pedagogy. First, the universal needs of a child. According to DeClory, these are foods, protection against danger, endurance for frustrations of life, white medical resilience, work, play, self-evolution, and discipline, white medical self-regulation. Second, he designed the workshop classroom based on the centers of interest and inductive games. The children were taught to read, write, and count, and guided to attain a comprehensive view of experience of life. Lecture globally. The child acquires a large number of words and enriches his spoken vocabulary, develops his speech, and improves his elocution and spelling. To educate in its fullest sense is to create conditions in which the child can live, and is led by these conditions lead to live as fully as possible through each succeeding stage of his developmental, meeting and solving his own experiences, the problems of each stage as it comes, and so gaining the power to lead and to solve the problems that await him in further stages. Such conditions it is for a school to provide. Indeed, Dr. DeClory method was essentially a program of work based on centers of interest and inductive games. The pioneers in special education is Dr. Anne Murray. She created colorful, inventing reading rooms where children could explore, thoughtfully choosing books on a variety of topics, and gather for regular and scheduled story hours. She visited every branch in the New York City library system to educate the staff about working with children and to evaluate children's collections for size and quality. So here are 3 important things based on her study of the situation in New York that convinces her. First, the horrors attendant upon feeble-mindedness have in no way become exaggerated. Second, the condition is neither circumscribed nor local. Third, there is a crying need for concerted action toward control of the situation. With that, she realized that the feeble-mindedness are menace of our present-day civilization, and that the problem of caring for them can no longer be safely ignored. Agree that the fact is often hereditary and incurable, that leads to poverty, degeneracy, crime, and disease. So he gave solutions. First, lifelong segregation during the reproductive period. Second, sterilization. Third, this remedy was in the opinion of this committee, be the principal agent used by society in carrying out the supply of defectives. Indeed, the pioneers of special education and their contribution are the most important mission of special education, which is to provide students with special needs with development opportunities and a learning process that will improve the quality of their life. This can only be done through utilizing the pioneers' ideas and cooperation with schools and government institutions that provide free appropriate education. This way, children acquire knowledge in line with their unique needs and abilities with the help of special education and advanced classrooms. Their ideas brought a widespread focus on providing the best research, most effective methods for special education teaching. Now, not only were students guaranteed an equal education, they were provided with viable schooling options and individualized attention they needed. Further, this process has a great value for society as a whole because special needs children get the opportunity to be accepted into the community, which helps them to become more independent and happier, surrounded by people who understand their needs and support them at every step of the way. That's all.